What would be your advice to you for kids out there who do relate to you when they hear your stories and they see you coming up like this and
Sure.
they want to go into this life, but there are hardships with it. Like what would be your advice? What would be your career advice to them?
I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, we'll all have to wait and see how my career turns out in the long run before we start taking advice from me. But based on where I'm at now, if that means anything to anybody, I guess I could say, like, it's hard, it's extraordinarily hard, and I guess it's like, first of all, you have to sort of like, I really think people need to sort of like honestly gauge their abilities, and really, that's why I always feel like being part of a community at UCB was so great for me, in the sense of like, I'm around other people and I'm able to say that it's not in a vacuum, you know what I mean? It's not me just going like, I think I can do this. It's me going like, wow, all these people are so much better than me. I better take more classes or do more shows or get to work. You know, that was a great motivator. And I think the main thing I can say is just like, try not to be bitter, you know what I mean? Try not to be jealous of people who it does happen for. Like, just keep working. If you can find the thing that only you can do, like for me, telling a lot of stories, I tried so long, you know, improv and sketch and all this different stuff, and what I came to find was the thing that worked best for me was kind of being open and honest about being kind of down and out, you know. That's when things started clicking, and then looking back on that, I'm like, oh, because that's a voice that's very distinct, and I owned it hard. And I think a lot of people maybe start sort of strategize, well, if I do this kind of thing or write this certain way or focus on this material, maybe it'll click, and they kind of try to play that game. And I think that maybe works for some people, but I bet in the long run what you're doing is doing watered down versions of stuff that other people are already doing more genuinely. So I think whatever you can do to be as genuine as possible, and whatever you can do to make it sort of honest and in your voice, and really find that thing that you can do to the best of your abilities, that you do better than other people could do, you know what I mean, because only you can pull it off. I think those are the things that people notice. And I think for me, that started to happen with the storytelling and the Chris Gethard show, and then that's when the career started to pick up. But I know for a fact I had hit a point where I'm like, well, I'm happy. I'm like happy with the stuff I'm doing on stage. I'm totally content, probably for the first time ever, feeling like I'm really putting my stamp on something. So I was actually very content doing that, and then that's when the career stuff hit. So maybe there's something to that, you know. Maybe if you focus on the craft and sort of achieving what you want that way, then the rest of it falls into place, and sort of, and also be a good person. Like, don't be a jerk, don't burn bridges. There's so much like posturing and like trying to be in the right place at the right time, trying to be seen and stuff, and it's just like, especially at the level of like the New York comedy scene, it's like we're all in it together, and it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense when you see people be rude and be nasty to each other. It just makes it, there's nothing good about it. So I think the more doors you can keep open, and the more you can avoid like all the shit talk and you know, competitive, like unhealthy competition. I believe in competition. Like, I know when I'm on my, like when I'm doing shows with my improv team, the Stepfathers, I'm like, I want us to be better than the other teams who play on the weekends at UCB, but I don't begrudge anybody their success. And as much as you can use all that stuff in a healthy way. I feel like I'm rambling.
No, it's all good. No, keep it going.
It's great.
And just to add on to that, like when you can simply like find your voice, find who you are, and be yourself as a performer, like that ultimately helps in that whole, those more positive virtues you're talking about, of like just being good and being respectful also. Yeah. I find that when I'm doing my stuff, when I'm trying to do my writing, it's when I can do my own thing in my own voice, just being myself also, that I feel less inclined to be competitive with people also, because I'm doing my thing and they're doing their thing, and it just all comes down to how you can market that. Yeah, and I think that's when you kind of separate yourself for better or for worse, you know what I mean? But I do kind of encourage it, like, if you really take a chance on doing something you actually want to do, and it succeeds, that's awesome. But even if it fails, it'll probably be better than just sitting around wishing you tried something, you know what I mean? Versus like trying to figure out how to sort of run with the pack, you know? If that's where you're trying to land, then I think that's a pretty sad state of affairs.